Hello guys, welcome to our channel, The Stories of Akbar Birbal. A gold coin and a ghee can. Akbar entrusts many of the cases that come to his durbar for trial to Birbal. One day, Madhusudan, a merchant who came to the durbar with Akbar's permission, bowed to him and said, "Lord, my name is Madhusudan. I am a ghee dealer. A month ago my friend named Aslam Khan came to me and asked for a loan of 20 mukaras. He who said he would return it within 15 days has not returned it yet," he said. Akbar entrusts many of the cases that come to his durbar for trial to Birbal. One day, Madhusudan, a merchant who came to the durbar with Akbar's permission, bowed to him and said, "Lord, my name is Madhusudan. I am a ghee dealer. A month ago my friend named Aslam Khan came to me and asked for a loan of 20 mukaras. He who said he would return it within 15 days has not returned it yet," he said. "Did you get him to sign the bond for the loan you gave him?" Akbar asked. "I have known Aslam Khan for 20 years. So the loan deed was not signed. But what I say is true," said. Akbar immediately turned to Birbal and said, "Birbal, are you looking into this case?" he asked. Birbal agreed and asked him to meet Madhusudan at his house in the evening. When Madhusudan came home in the evening, he asked him to re-explain what had happened. After listening to what he said, "So, there is no proof that you gave Aslam a loan?" "There are no witnesses," said Birbal. To which Madhusudan replied, "Yes," said. After encouraging him, Birbal sent word to Aslam Khan to meet him. Soon a well-dressed, handsome man came looking for Birbal. "I am Aslam Khan. You asked me to come," said. "Sorry to bother you. Someone has filed a complaint against you. You should be questioned about that," said Birbal. "A complaint against me? I am very coinable. There is no chance of a complaint against me," said Aslam. When Birbal narrated the case against Madhusudan, "Why should I take a loan from him? I have plenty of property. I also earn good profit in ghee business. Madhusudan blames me in vain," said Aslam. "Maybe, but after it comes as a case, it needs to be thoroughly investigated," said Birbal. "Allah has given me abundant wealth. I don't need to borrow from anyone," Aslam snapped. Birbal immediately changed his speech and said, "Aslam, can you do me a favor?" said. "Tell me," said Aslam. "I asked my friend in the village to send me a tin of ghee. He sent 2 tins. It would be better to sell a tin of ghee somewhere," said Birbal. "Give it to me. I will sell it and send you the money," said Aslam. "Thanks. I will send a tin to your shop tomorrow," said Birbal and sent him away. The next day, Birbal went to Madhusudan's house and asked Aslam Khan if he could sell the ghee. Madhusudan agreed and 2 tins of ghee were sent to the shop. The next day, Birbal was working in his garden when Madhusudan ran in panting. "Dear pal, there was a gold coin in the tin you sent. I came to give it. Here is the money from the sale of ghee." He gave the whole to Birbal. "Ah, was there gold in the tin I sent? I am very lucky. Thank you, Madhusudan," said Birbal. "Let it be. What happened to my case?" Madhusudan asked. "That's it. I am investigating. The result will be known tomorrow," said Birbal. The next day Aslam came to Birbal's house and said, "Here is the money from the sale of your ghee." He gave the money. After thanking him and asking him to sit, Birbal called his servant and whispered something in his ears. What he said did not fall on Aslam's ears. He didn't care about that. This is what Birbal secretly told his servant. "Go straight to Aslam's house. Call his son. Say that his father is in Birbal's house. Then tell him that he forgot to bring a gold coin from the ghee tin and that his father told him to bring it immediately," said. After secretly sending the servant to Aslam's house, Birbal passed the time by talking to Aslam, who was sitting in his living room. After a while Birbal's servant returned with Aslam's son. The boy ran towards Aslam and said, "Father, here is the gold coin you told me to bring. We got this in a ghee tin yesterday." Aslam said angrily, "Preacher, who brought you here? Gold in a tin of ghee? What the hell are you talking about?" He tried to hide the fact. "Why are you threatening him, Aslam? The guy is telling the truth. You are the one covering up. I put this gold coin in the ghee tin. I did it just to test you. If you try to lie again, your head will be gone, Birbal threatened, and Aslam admitted the truth. He returned the gold coin to Birbal. Right, similarly return the 20 mukharas you borrowed from Madhusudan to me, said Birbal. Aslam sings the old refrain, I never took a loan from Madhusudan. Hearing this, Birbal, Aslam, if you continue to lie, you will be hanged. That scared Aslam Khan. He admitted the truth and apologized to Birbal, saying that he would repay the loan and return the loan in full. Akbar greatly admired Birbal's intelligence. On the next day morning, the Akbar Birbal cow's milk Chakraborty Akbar was very fond of Birbal. Seeing this, many people in the Durbar became jealous of Birbal. Hakim Zalim Khan, the palace physician, was one of them. He and others who were jealous of Birbal were looking forward to a good opportunity to get Birbal into trouble. One day Akbar got fever. Immediately the palace physician Zalim Khan was urgently summoned. As he was rushing into the palace, some people who were jealous of Birbal blocked his way. Get out of the way. Chakraborty is not feeling well. I want to see him immediately, said Zalim Khan. We are coming to you urgently because you are going to see Chakraborty, they said. You have got a great opportunity to beat Birbal. I will do anything to push Birbal into the abyss. Tell me now, said Zalim Khan. An old man told Zalim Khan their secret plan. On hearing that, Zalim Khan jumped in excitement. After thanking those who had given him the idea, he went to treat Akbar. Akbar was moaning in his bedchamber with a blanket covering his head. Zalim Khan examined Akbar carefully. It turned out that what he was suffering from was a common fever. But after testing Akbar for a long time, he pretended to be very worried for a while. After that he said to Akbar, Lord, you've got the flu. I have medicine for that. But if you eat it with cow's milk, you will get better soon. That's why I'm worried. Cow's milk? Akbar asked in surprise. There are cows that give milk, Lord. But it is very difficult to find them, said Zalim Khan. Who's going to find out? Akbar asked anxiously. Why, Lord, our Birbal is very smart. There is nothing he cannot do, said Zalim Khan. How can Birbal find a milking bull? Akbar asked Zalim Khan suspiciously. If anyone in the world can find such a bull, it's Birbal. The doctor said, Lord, you rest for a week. Take this medicine mixed with cow's milk 4 times a day. You will be cured. Zalim Khan gave the medicine and left. Soon, Birbal was summoned before Akbar. How are you, Lord? Birbal asked. You see, Birbal, I have a severe fever. The doctor has given medicine, but it should be dipped in cow's milk and eaten, said Akbar. Cow's milk? Birbal asked in surprise. Which man said that bulls and cows give milk? He asked. Why? Dr. Zalim Khan said. He assured that only you alone can bring the milk of the bull and the cow, said Akbar. Did Zalim Khan say so? Asked Birbal. Yes, Akbar said. Birbal immediately realized that it was a ploy by Zalim Khan to embarrass him in trouble. Birbal thought about it all the way home. Soon a great idea came to his mind. Soon, Birbal went home and called his clever daughter and told her what had happened in the palace and the plan he had devised to escape the trouble. Hearing this, his daughter said, I must. Father, she said, is that Zalim Khan jealous of you? He asked. Not only him, but many others are jealous. Let it be. Do as I say tonight, said Birbal. Midnight came. Birbal's daughter took a maid with her and went to the river bank. She chose the steps near Akbar's palace and started washing the clothes she had brought with her in the river. Akbar's bedchamber was very close to the stairs, so the sound of Birbal's daughter banging clothes on the stairs was very loud in the middle of the night. As if that was not enough, she talked to the maid while laughing loudly. Akbar's sleep was disturbed by that sound. Angered by who would make such a noise in the middle of the night, Akbar immediately sent a guard. The guard also came out of the palace to find out who was making such a noise. On the bank of the river, in the middle of the night, he saw a young woman laughing and talking loudly with the maid and washing the clothes, and he became angry. He approached her scolding her and said, You fool, what are you crazy about? Does anyone do the laundry at night? He asked while swinging his spear. Why? Is there no water in the river at night? Will it be during the day? Why not wash at night? Birbal's daughter argued. Don't you know? Next to it is Chakravati's mansion. Alas, you have disturbed his sleep. Go away from here immediately, said the guard. Then who washes the clothes? Will you? She said. The guard angrily shouted, Preacher. Who are you? He shouted. Immediately, she laughed and said, I'm a girl, she said. Arrogant. Whose girl are you? Said the guard. I'm my daddy's girl. For her to reply, the guard grew impatient. I am going to drag you to Chakravati. If you answer in the same way, he will give you a whipping. The guard dragged her and went to Akbar. Standing before Akbar, Birbal's daughter had no fear on her face. As she bravely stood up with a smile, the guard told Akbar about her washing clothes at night. Akbar angrily said, What? Only have time to do laundry at night? Said, Yes, sir. There is no time in the day. Just this evening my father went into labor and gave birth to a baby. I have done the chores for both of them and now I have come to wash the clothes, she said. What are you talking about? Akbar said angrily. I'm not sleeping, sir. I am telling the truth. My father gave birth to a child this evening, she said. Fool, don't go crazy again. Tell me correctly that your mother has given birth to a child. Akbar snarled. No, Lord. My father gave birth to the child. She repeated what she had said. Are you crazy? How will your father have a child? Akbar erupted like a volcano. What is there to be angry about, Lord? If a bull can give milk, can't a man father a child? When she heard that, Akbar said, Sure. Immediately, he understood. All his anger has subsided. Woman, are you Birbal's daughter? Akbar asked. Yes, sir, she said. Who else but Birbal would have such an idea? Girl, tell me not to wander in search of cow's milk in vain for beer milk. Say you gave it yourself. Akbar gifted her a bag full of gold coins. After receiving it, she bowed to him and went home. Akbar thought to himself after she left. Say, Akbar thought that this Jalim Khan went to bring cow's milk to trap Birbal and made me a fool. The next day Zalim Khan scolded Akbar with words he had never heard in his life. Another one after this. Akbar was strolling in the garden with Birbal. Suddenly Akbar pressed and rubbed his right wrist with his left hand. His wrist was swollen. Seeing that, Birbal smiled. Do you feel like laughing when I'm throbbing in pain? Akbar said, Sorry, Lord. I will tell you why I laughed. Birbal plucked a lemon from the garden, cut it and rubbed its juice on the swelling. As if the pain seemed to ease a little, Akbar said, I realized today that applying lemon juice on the wasp sting will reduce the pain. You have understood that fact today. I realized another truth today. That's why I laughed, said Birbal. What is that? Akbar asked. Lord, we all revere you with fear and reverence. But a tiny wasp flew up to you boldly and stung you and left. I laughed just thinking about it, said Birbal. You are right, my authority goes to men. Even the smallest creatures like wasps. Beetles and ants are not afraid of me, because they only fight in self-defense when they feel threatened. But man is the only one who is motivated by passion, jealousy and anger and hurts others. It is my duty to punish such criminals, said. Conversing like that, they came to the small gate of the garden. Then when he opened the door and wanted to go to the palace, there was a goldsmith standing by the door. When he saw Akbar he humbly bowed. Who are you? Akbar said. I am goldsmith Bajridas, he said. What do you want? Akbar asked. Sir, it is my custom to keep all the gold required for my work saved in an iron cupboard. I will have the key to that locked cupboard. If I am busy with work, I will send one of my 4 servants to open the lock of the cabinet and fetch the gold. All 4 of my employees are worthy of trust, he said. Right, even so, the gold will be stolen from your closet. One of your employees must have stolen it. Is that so? Akbar said. Yes, sir, said Bajridas. What is the value of the stolen gold? Akbar asked. 10 gold nuggets. They cost more than 1 lakh, said Bajridas. Don't worry, Akbar said. You will get your gold back in 3 days. Lord, who are you going to give the responsibility of finding the culprit? asked Birbal. Why, there is the city police chief. He is there, said Akbar, the head of the city police, who took over from Akbar the responsibility of tracking down the thief. Immediately arrested and imprisoned 4 of Birada's servants. He forced them to tell the truth by hanging them upside down and whipping them to shreds. But after beating and kicking them for 2 days, they proved themselves innocent. The head of the police got scared, thinking that even after 2 days he was unable to find the real culprit and recover the gold. He was distraught because admitting his defeat would incur the wrath of the emperor. Birbal suddenly remembered, why didn't this occur to me earlier? Birbal is the only one who can solve this problem. Saying that, when the day dawned, he hurriedly went in search of Birbal. As soon as he started to explain his problem to Birbal said, I already know about this. Again, one more problem. Virasiman is a petty king. He was a minor king. He was under the rule of Akbar. He paid tribute to the Mughal Empire and maintained friendly relations with them. Virasiman, who valued the peace of the citizens in his kingdom, did not mind being a slave of the Mughals. But some young men in his kingdom felt that the king had compromised his character. The youths unhesitatingly approached him and voiced their condemnation of his policy. They expressed their opinion that freedom was their birthright and for the peace of the country. It was a shame to be slaves of the Mughals. Virasiman replied, I also like freedom. But I don't want a river of blood to flow to get it. The Mughals are very close-knit. Before their creation, the petty king, can do nothing. They said, why are you comparing only force? Can we defeat the Mughals with our knowledge? They said, do we have such scholars? Said Virasiman. Why not? Said the youths. No one thing. Nowhere else can you find scholars like those in Akbar's council. Let's test their wits. A young man who challenged said, I will tell you a test. Ask Akbar to send a pot full of knowledge from his court. A pot full of knowledge? Why is that? Can you fill a pot with knowledge like you catch water? Asked the king. Do you think it's impossible? He said. Yes, that is impossible, said the king. The wise man is the one who accomplishes the impossible. You said Akbar's Durbar had the best intellectuals in the world. May such great sages do as we ask? He asked arrogantly. The king also reluctantly agreed to it. A few days later, Virasiman sent a well-spoken messenger to Akbar with a handful of rewards. Virasiman's emissary entered Akbar's Durbar, bowed to him, presented Akbar with the rewards that his king had given him, and conveyed the king's greetings. Is Virasima okay? Asked Akbar. Should we ask about the welfare of our king when the emperor is in favor? Said the angel politely. You will convey my greetings to your king. Akbar said, have I any news from the king? He asked. Lord, your Durbar is filled with many scholars. So our king begs you to please give me a pot full of knowledge, said the messenger. Those in the Durbar were surprised to hear that. How can knowledge be potted? But Akbar did not think seriously about it. As there were many scholars in his Darbar, he left it to them to take care of the matter. So he told the messenger that the item Virasiman wanted would be sent within a month. Lord, your kindness knows no bounds. Our king is proud to be under your dominion, said the messenger skillfully to cool Akbar's mind, and went back. After he left, Akbar turned to the scholars in his Darbar, and one of them shouted, Lord, Virasiman cannot give what he asked for. Nothing is impossible. When Akbar said angrily, everyone remained silent out of fear. Lord, Birbal got up and called softly, give me a fortnight. I will overcome this challenge, he said. Surely this can be won? Akbar asked, have I ever said something and not done it? When Birbal asked back, good luck. You are the only scholar in my court. He praised Birbal and looked at the others with scorn. Birbal returned home that evening and took a good look at his garden. Along with other vegetable plants, he also saw a barangay vine. There were many flowers, benches and pods in it. He immediately went into the house and brought an empty pot, leaving it on the ground. He inserted a part of the barangay vine with a pinch into the pot and made the barangay pinch inside the pot and pulled the tip of the vine outwards. It looked as if the flying flag had entered the pot and then come out. That's right, Birbal said to himself and asked his wife and the gardener to keep the pot and the flagpole very safe. Every day he came to the garden and visited the barangay pinch in the pot. In 10 days the finches became infected. When it reached a stage where the fruit would grow bigger and break the pot if left alone, Birbal went into the pot and cut off the parts of the vine that came out with a knife. Now there was only a well-grown chickweed in the pot. Birbal then covered the mouth of the pot tightly with a cloth and took it to the durbar. Birbal, who gave the pot to Akbar, said, "Prabhu, this is the pot of knowledge that King Veerasimhan wanted. Send this to him." Seeing that, Akbar said, "What, Birbal? Are you playing how can the pot be filled with knowledge? What's really in it?" Akbar asked curiously. "Prabhu, knowledge is inside the knowledge box. Veerasimhan should take the knowledge inside the pot and send the pot back to us. It should not crush while taking it out. Do not break the pot. If a corner pot breaks, Veerasimhan has to pay a fine of 10,000 gold coins. Tell him all this," said Birbal. "What, is the fine 10,000 gold coins?" Akbar asked. "The price of knowledge is very high, sir," said Birbal. Similarly, after being given the pot by the messenger, Akbar, who could not contain his curiosity, said, "Birbal, tell me what you have in the pot," he urged. At once Birbal told him what he had done. "Sir, Veerasimhan will be right on the nose for his mischievous question." At once Birbal told him what he had done. "Sir, Veerasimhan will be right on the nose for his mischievous question. He cannot take out the parangikai in the pot completely without breaking the pot. Parangikai should not be cut and taken out, so he is stuck with us." "Damn it," Akbar patted Birbal on the back. On receiving the pot, Veerasimhan saw a large barangay inside the pot. He also asked for those two conditions. Parangikai should not be cut. At the same time, if you try to take it out completely, the pot will break. Immediately the king called the preacher youths and showed them the knowledge board and explained it to them. Tears flowed down their faces. "I also became a fool after listening to you. I said earlier that there was no dearth of scholars in Akbar's court. You didn't hear me. To cover the penalty amount, you will have to work for me without pay for the whole period," he said. Then, in a twist of fate to send the fine to Akbar, he gave half of it to Birbal. Thanks for listening this story.